Hola, welcome to Flipgrid for chapter 13. Chapter 13, like chapter 12, only has one Flipgrid video, and this chapter will only take 1 week. So keep your eye on that. We're going to cover 2 topics today. We're going to talk a little bit more about some uses of the subjunctive, and then we're going to talk about the no fault say in Spanish. All right, so here we go. Let me get my PowerPoint pulled up. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the subjunctive with purpose and time clauses. So chapter 13, by the way, is all about el espectáculo, like the arts, including theater, television, visual arts. And so that's kind of the vocabulary of the topics that we're going to talk about, and, you know, talent and stuff like that. But for grammar, the first thing is the subjunctive with purpose and time clauses. So we've been using conjunctions to link the 2 clauses. Like I've said, in all circumstances, we've used que to link 2 clauses, independent clause and dependent clause, and the K is that links the conjunction, sorry, that links the 2 clauses and pushes that verb in the second clause into the subjunctive. So some conjunctions of purpose are always followed by the subjunctive, and they include things like a fin de que, which means so that, a menos que, unless, con tal de que, provided that, or I kind of think of that in English as long as. Con tal de que in English to me means as long as. En caso de que, in case of. Para que, so that, we use that one a lot. And sin que, without. So let me show you some examples. Voy al cine con tal de que vayas conmigo. So the independent clause is voy al cine. You know it's an independent clause because if you were to take away the entire rest of the sentence, you would still have a perfectly fine sentence. Voy al cine. I'm going to the movies. So that's how we know it's the independent clause. The conjunction is con tal de que, which remember means as long as. Vayas conmigo is the dependent clause. And we know it's the dependent clause because if we took everything else out, we would have vayas conmigo, which means you would go or you shall go with me. That doesn't really make sense on its own. It's very dependent on the other part of the sentence to tell us what is dependent on, I guess. Hopefully that makes sense. So voy al cine con tal de que vayas conmigo. I will go to the movies as long as what? Well, as long as you go with me. And that dependent clause is the one that gets pushed into the subjunctive. The vayas is the subjunctive. Mi hijo trabaja los fines de semana para que tenga dinero. So mi hijo trabaja los fines de semana is the independent clause. If that were the only thing we saw, it would be a perfectly fine sentence. My son works on the weekends. Boom. Okay. Para que is the conjunction. For that, for what? Tenga dinero. So that he has money. And that's the part that's pushed into the subjunctive. Aunque is a conjunction of purpose. However, it is not always followed by the subjunctive. That's why it's got the asterisk there. Aunque means although. And it's kind of easy to remember. Aunque sounds kind of like although. It can be followed by the indicative, so not subjunctive, to state when it's in a statement of certainty. So, aunque el concierto es en abril, no puedo ir. So, even though or although the concert is in April, I can't go. And again, this is that speaker's perception of what they're saying. It's a certain statement. Even though the concert's in April, I can't go. You would follow aunque with the subjunctive if any uncertainty were implied. So, aunque el concierto sea en abril, no puedo ir. So even if the concert is in April, I can't go. And here is where we're going to start to get into some of the trickiness of the subjunctive, because if you look at these two sentences, they're identical, except for the verb in the first clause of the sentence is in the indicative, es en abril, or in the subjunctive, sea en abril, and the meaning is altered just ever so slightly. So even though the concert's in April, I can't go, or even if the concert's in April, I can't go. And so here would be an example of either one making sense. It all is just kind of, again, it's dependent on the speaker's perception of what they're saying. Is it certain or is it uncertain? And that's kind of always my default. That's where I go back to help myself understand this whole subjunctive business. Is there any certainty? Is there any uncertainty? Is it uncertain at all? Is there any question or doubt? That's when you would use the subjunctive. If it's a straightforward, certain statement, you have no need for the subjunctive. Just use the indicative. So aunque is one of the conjunctions of purpose that could go either way. We also have conjunctions of time, and these also could be followed by a verb in the indicative or the subjunctive mood. This one's a little bit easier to separate though, because it's all dependent on time. So here are some examples of conjunctions of time. We have antes de que, before, después de que, after, en cuanto, as soon as, or tan pronto como also means as soon as. I tend to use tan pronto como for as soon as. They both mean the same thing. Cuando, you know, means when, and hasta que means until. We use the subjunctive when the action, condition, or event has not yet taken place. We use the indicative when the action, condition, or event has already happened, or if it's a habitual or completed action. It's a little easier to separate. Here's some examples. So, los músicos van a aplaudir cuando llegue el director. That's a future action. It has not yet happened yet, so we're going to use the subjunctive. The musicians are going to applaud when the conductor arrives. He hasn't arrived yet. We would use indicative for a habitual action. Los músicos siempre aplauden cuando llega el director. They always applaud when the conductor arrives. So you can see the difference. One's habitual, or it has already happened, and then the other one, the subjunctive, is a future action. Hasn't happened yet. Here's some more examples. Los músicos aplaudieron, en el pasado, aplaudieron cuando llegó el director. Already happened, so we use the indicative. The musicians applauded, sorry, there's a typo, they applauded in the past when the conductor arrived. Antes de que means before, so it's always going to require the subjunctive. Why? Well, it's never happened yet. It's not a past action if it's antes de que, before. So los invitados van a la recepción antes de que lleguen los artistas. The guests go to the reception before the artists arrive. Hasn't happened yet, so we know that one is always going to be followed by the subjunctive. So here are some questions that you can answer in your Flipgrid back to me that will allow you to use some of these expressions of time and purpose, and let me know, I don't know, your thoughts or intentions on some of these questions. You do not need to answer all of them, please. Just pick a few. There's 6 here. ¿Qué vas a hacer tan pronto como termines con los estudios? So, tan pronto como, as soon as, again, that's going to be followed by the subjunctive. So you could answer this one like this. Tan pronto como termine con mis estudios, yo voy a, and then fill in the blank. Just tell me what you plan to do. If it is look for a job or travel, I mean, obviously we can't travel right now, but maybe someday, or whatnot. But you can start your sentence, your answer to that question with that phrase in the subjunctive. Tan pronto como termine, yo terminé con mis estudios. ¿Qué necesitas para estar contento? That's kind of a deep and philosophical question, and it could have a very simple answer. ¿Qué quieres hacer antes de que llegue el año 2025? Antes de que llegue, subjunctive, el año 2025, yo quiero terminar con mis estudios. Antes de que llegue el año 2025, yo quiero correr 3 maratones. ¿Eres una persona con talentos artísticos? ¿Cuáles son? ¿Mires la tele de vez en cuando? Por ejemplo, yo nunca miro la tele. ¿Tienes un programa que te gusta mucho? ¿Cuál es y por qué te gusta? A mí me interesa mucho esta pregunta. So, por favor, responden de esa pregunta, ¿tienes un programa que te gusta mucho? Porque aunque yo no vea la televisión mucho, siempre tengo planes de mirar un programa, quedarme calma, muy tranquila, mirando la tele. Siempre estoy buscando consejos o recomendaciones de programas para mirar. Por ejemplo, yo tengo Netflix, tengo Amazon Prime, tengo, no sé qué más tenemos. Se me hace que tenemos Hulu también. So, yo tengo opciones en mi televisión, pero yo no tengo casi interés en casi nada que tenemos. Y ahora tengo un poquito más de tiempo, pero no tengo un programa que mirar. Por favor, dime qué están mirando ustedes. Okay, vamos a seguir entonces. We're going to continue on to the next topic for chapter 13, which is the no fault say. It wasn't me. This is a very Spanish, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very Spanish idiomatic kind of expression. We don't do this in English, but in Spanish, when something happens, the way to say that something happened usually bad or with some sort of negative connotation is, instead of saying that, oh, I did that thing, this the way to say it in Spanish is that it happened to me. Like the world happened this thing to me. So it's kind of hard to explain, but let me just give you an example. Instead of saying, I lost the keys to my house, yo perdí las llaves de la casa. That's not at all how we would say that in Spanish. We would say, se me perdieron las llaves de mi casa. So instead of, it would kind of be the difference in English. Instead of saying, I lost the keys got lost. It just kind of removes that culpability from whatever happened. Instead of taking responsibility on the speaker, from the speaker, it just says that it kind of happened. The world made it happen upon me, I guess is how I would translate that. I'll give you some more examples and tell you how to construct this no fault say form. So we use the indirect object to show who the poor victim is. And you're going to use that object pronoun. So it doesn't always happen to me. It could happen to you or him or us. For us, we'll probably use mostly it happened to me. We'll put it in the yo form. But so you use the indirect object pronoun to show whoever this happened to, and then you put se right before it. So se me olvidaron las gafas would be like the glasses were forgotten and it happened to me. Se le cayó el vaso, the cup fell. And because the le is in there, it happened to him or her. So the say, I guess, kind of just pulls the responsibility off of that indirect object pronoun person, because the indirect object pronouns always represent a person. So it just kind of, it pulls it off onto the say. Se nos acabó el tiempo. We ran out of time. So let's pretend for a second, like take the say off that sentence. Nos acabó el tiempo. It doesn't really make sense, but it would be we the time ran out on us. But when you put the se, it removes the, like I said, that culpability or responsibility from the person onto just the naturally occurring world. So that's how you form it. Use se, followed by the indirect object pronoun, and then a verb. Usually the verb is going to be in the past tense, not always, but most of the time. And it's conjugated for whatever thing or things it happened to. So the glasses, the cup, the time, that becomes the subject of the sentence. So if, for example, se me olvidaron las gafas, the glasses were forgotten. The glasses becomes the subject. Olvidaron is conjugated for glasses. In the second one, se le cayó el vaso. El vaso is the subject of the sentence. The cup fell. So caer, the verb caer, is conjugated for a cup, not for he dropped it, or it's not for I, it's not conjugated for yo, it's conjugated, the thing is what becomes the subject, and that's what the verb gets conjugated for. So I'll try to make that even a little bit more simple. It's always going to be in the third person singular or the third person plural. Because it's never happened, the person is never the one who's doing the verb. It's always the thing or things. I'm going to give you some more examples if your head is spinning and you're confused. Here are some verbs that are commonly used in the no fault say constructions. Acabar, caer, escapar, olvidar, perder, quedar, romper. You can't use this construction with any old verb. It really has to be a verb that something like a cause and effect kind of a verb. So stick with the ones in the book or the ones I'm giving you here. Again, I say they work like gustar and molestar, and that's because we're going to just always put them in the third person plural or singular. So it's always going to be either acaba or acaban, or in the past tense, acabó, acabaron. Cayó, cayeron. Escapó, escaparon, escaparon. So, like I said, typically in the past, third person singular or plural. Here are some more examples, like I promised. Se me olvidó mi tarea. That should even be la tarea. I would say that's more correct. Se me olvidó la tarea doesn't mean, hey, I forgot my homework. It means the homework was forgotten and it happened to me. Or a Juan se le cayó el teléfono. The phone was dropped. Not Juan dropped his phone. No, the phone was dropped and it happened to Juan. So in this example, the caer, the verb to fall or to drop, is conjugated for teléfono. Same with the previous example. Olvidar is not conjugated in the yo form because I didn't forget my homework. It's conjugated for tarea because the homework was forgotten. A Rosa y yo se nos acabó la batería de la cámara. Cámara should have an accent. Man, there's a lot of typos on this PowerPoint. That means instead of we let the battery run out on the camera, the battery ran out on the camera and it happened to us. So say nos, because it happened to us, and then acabó, the verb has been conjugated for the camera. The camera battery ran out and it happened to us. A ustedes se les escapó el perro de la casa. So the dog escaped from the house and it happened to you all. So se, les for ustedes, and then escapó is conjugated for el perro, the dog. The dog escaped from the house and it happened to us. So always use se, followed by the indirect object pronoun, the mete, se, nos, o se, whoever, mete, le, nos, os, les, whoever it happened to, and then the verb in the third person, plural or singular. Here's some examples. If you were live language lab, I would have us do this together. I'll just show you. So this is Señor Martinez. ¿Qué le pasó? What happened to him? So in the first picture, his car ran out of gas. He didn't let the car run out of gas. The car just happened to run out of gas and it happened upon him. So I would say, take that responsibility off. Le, because it happened to him. Le for Señor Martinez. And then for la gasolina, I could say it ran out. Se le acabó la gasolina. The gas ran out on him. In the second picture, that could be they. It looks like he lost the keys to the house, right? But of course, Señor Martinez didn't lose the keys. The keys were lost. So I'm going to say se les, because it happened to them, ellos, se les perdieron las llaves. Las llaves perdieron, the keys were lost, and it happened to them. Se les perdieron las llaves. In the next picture, Señor Martinez, it looks like he forgot something. I don't know, maybe the art, since this chapter is about artwork. And so I'm going to say, take that responsibility off, le, because it happened to him. Se le olvidó el arte. El arte se le olvidó. He forgot the art, but not that he forgot the art was forgotten and it happened to him. In the next picture, the dog, obviously outside, he is inside looking for the dog. I'm going to use the verb escapar, to escape. And I would say, le, because it happened to him. Se le escapó el perro. The dog escaped. So escapar, conjugated in the past for dog, el perro. Se le escapó el perro. Hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense. He spilled his drink, but of course he didn't do it. It happened to him. It happened upon him. So, se le cayó la leche. Looks like milk. Se le cayó la leche. And then the last one, oh no, this picture always cracks me up. She fell. Se le cayó, or se le rompió la silla. She didn't break the chair, all right? It was not her fault. The chair broke on her. Se le rompió. The chair, romper is the verb to break. Se le rompió la silla. The chair broke on her. Okay, I can of course send you more practice with this no fault say if it's still a little fuzzy. Hopefully my explanation makes sense enough. It won't ever be more complicated than this as far as I'm concerned for like your quizzes or finals or anything like that. Here are a few conversation questions you can answer back in your Flipgrid video back. ¿Se te perdió algo importante alguna vez? So you can start that one with se me perdió and then tell me what. ¿Se te olvidó hacer algo o una cita? Have you ever forgotten anything or like an appointment or anything? So se me olvidó. And then tell me what. ¿Se te acabó el dinero en una situación importante? Por ejemplo, en la tienda de comida o en un restaurante, se te acabó el dinero y no podrías pagar. Answer me those three. The last question is more just open-ended. ¿Qué te preocupes ahora? No, esa pregunta no es importante a mí. So, I mean, sí me importa mucho lo que ustedes se preocupen, pero no me tienen que decir nada de que te preocupen. All right, so that brings us to the end of chapter 13, Flipgrid. I will be looking forward to hearing all your answers to these questions. You guys are doing an awesome job on these. Please let me know if you want some more practice or more explanation on any of this, but especially that no fault say. And I will see you guys next week. Adios.